From historic Moore Gymnasium on the campus of Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach, Florida, tonight's first broadcast of Bethune-Cookman Athletics on the Cat Eye Network is on the air. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company on this warm winter evening on the east coast of Florida. Reminder, this is only the first of two games coming your way this evening as the BCU men's team will take on Chicago State at 8 p.m. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk basketball. The Lady Wildcats are still searching for their first win of the season after dropping two close contests against Florida, Georgia Southern, and most recently Jacksonville over the last 2 weeks. In that 62-75 setback to the Dolphins, Chanel Wilson scored 22 points, continuing her hot start to the season, including a 24-point outing against Florida, and she is averaging 16 points per game, good for third in the SWAC. UNF is 1-4 to start the season with their lone win coming against the NAIA Wagner to open up the season. Most recently, the Ospreys fell 7-9-56 to St. Joseph. Their top scorer is Lyric Squan by a wide margin, 16.8 points per game. She's also a fantastic defender, pulling in 16 steals. I'm happy to be joined once again by Division I basketball coach and administrator Eric Dennis. Eric, it's been a rough start to the season for Bethune-Cookman. They've got three players out tonight in Mariah Tucker, Alicia Moultrie, and Kerrigan Dunn. So shorthanded against a team in North Florida, which has historically been very good in this region. What do they need to do to get their first one on the board tonight?
Well, they got to focus on the Swan sisters, as we talked about just a little while ago before we went on air. The Swan sisters are the two leading scorers, two best players on this team. You've got a lot of information about how much they've played together that I'm looking forward to hear throughout the night.
National anthem coming up, and then we'll go down to the floor for starters. Starting fives on the floor, it'll be Livingston, Robsdottir, Regier, Swan of the lyric variety, and Brorman for North Florida. For Bethune-Cookman, it's Deshante Edwards, Cariana Woods, Yamani McCulloch, Chanel Wilson, and Kayla Clark. And outside Chanel Wilson, this is a very much changed starting five from what we're used to seeing for the Wildcats this year. No Morgan Beecham, no Omariah Tucker as she's out with an injury, no Kerrigan Dunn. So a lot of players for the Wildcats getting some playing time tonight that haven't gotten those minutes earlier in the season.
You know, it's a great opportunity for these players to prove to the coach that under game conditions that they can earn more playing time, but it is going to hurt the Wildcats a little bit with Tucker being out. She gives us 7 points and about 6 rebounds a game, but we'll see if some of these other girls can make it up.
And Beecham averages 7.8 a game, and she is on the bench as well. BCU wins the opening set. They wear the home gold trimmed in maroon and white. It's the array navy with silver and white for the Ospreys.
Starting out with the high pick and roll. North Florida knocks it out of bounds. Underneath out of bounds to the Wildcats.
That was a pass across from Cariana Woods. She leads the team in assists with 7. Only a freshman, very young, this Wildcats team. Only Chanel Wilson, a graduate student or senior. And it looks like they're going to grab a reach-in foul early on for Regier. Regier, a native of Savannah, Georgia, went to Beach High School. A diminutive 5'5". She'll be the shortest player on the floor for either team this evening.
Yeah, you know, she can play, though, I'll tell you. She brings it. She brings it every night.
Yeah, 16 points total this season. That's good for 5.3 a game. And averaged 3.4 points in her freshman year at UNF.
So side out of bounds zipper action. No.
The Wildcats do indeed turn it over. It's been a struggle for BCU. They turn the ball over almost 20 times a game, 18.8 to be exact. There's the first one there. And now it's time to see what Lyric Swan can do. She wears 22 and holds the ball right now and almost turns it over. Woods got her hand on the ball, but the Ospreys get it back. Kayla Clark tips it out. Last touch by Borman, so BCU will take the ball.
So 1 turnover to 1 turnover so far. We're still fresh, no points.
I think this might be a defensive battle as both of these teams are struggling on the offensive side of the floor this season. North Florida 62 points a game, Bethune-Cookman 61. Here's an outside jump shot that's too strong, but it's tapped back to Yamani McCulloch.
She gets another chance.
3 from the wing, off the back iron, no good, but a third chance now at the offensive possession for the Wildcats as Deshante Edwards grabs the miss.
I think we're having shot clock issues, so the shot clock reset to 29 on an offensive board. It should only be 19.
Yep. Had to deal with this a lot. I worked the table at the 2 tournaments over at the Ocean Center last week over Thanksgiving holiday, and it's very difficult to get all that coordinated with the officials, but they got it right now. 15 seconds on the clock, a drive. Oh, and UNF wanted a travel. 3 from the outside for Tucker. And North Florida eventually gets the ball back after 3 bites of the cherry for BCU. Backdoor cutting pass, right-hand finish. No good. The ball pinballs around and comes to Regier. Here's a drive. Step-back floater is good for Brianna Livingston, the native of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And a transfer from Monmouth gets the Ospreys on the board.
Nice offense by Brianna to penetrate in, stop, and pop.
McCulloch, a 3 from way downtown. It's off the mark. Yamani McCulloch really has yet to put her mark on this program. She was out all of her freshman year with an injury. 3 from the wing, no good. And the rebound does come down to Wilson. Chanel Wilson, who's on the ball right now, the best player for BCU this season so far, leads the team in scoring with 16.8 points per game and assists and 3-point percentage at 44.4%.
McCullough on a sideline break. Wildcats push the ball up the floor. She takes it to the hoop, and she's rewarded with 2 free throws.
And I'm interested to see what McCullough can bring, because obviously she didn't play at all last year, out with an injury. She's still wearing a brace on her right knee, so maybe not as mobile as she would like to be, but she's a shooter. She scored over 1,000 points at Putnam Science Academy in Stratford, Connecticut. So
nice shooter's touch there. Now I've seen her in practice just absolutely fill it up. shooting rows from 3 points, but it's yet to translate into the game like you talked about.
And it's tough, right? You know, you sit out an entire year with an injury, and then you have to come in and essentially transition into the speed of the college game as a sophomore instead of having that freshman year as a buffer.
And then there's the psychological, am I hurt, am I healed? You know, that takes time to get over it as well mentally as it does physically.
BCU almost executes the trap, but North Florida keeps it alive. Rogier does turn it over this time. Pass ahead to Kayla Clark. She runs the floor, and she puts it in off the break. The Miami native puts the Wildcats on top.
Nice help defense by the Wildcats to get the steal and the run-out break. 2 points, Wildcats.
And I always love watching the centers battle, and we're going to have a good one tonight between Clark and Brorman. So that's something to watch for. Here's the other Swan sister. This is Jalen Swan with the handles. Gets around everybody. No, excuse me. This is Lyric Swan. She can't finish on the baseline. An offensive board for Borman.
Hopefully they don't notice that the shot clock's down because that was an air ball. The clock didn't reset.
3 seconds. Step back from Jalen Swan, and she drains it.
Oh, nice 3 by them at the buzzer. Tough break for the Wildcats.
And the shot clock didn't reset, so we'll have to restart this BCU possession. Lyric Swan and Jalen Swan, the two names we'll be saying a lot tonight. Lyric leads the Ospreys with 16.8 points a game, almost up to 100 for the season already. Her sister Jalen, 8 points a game. Both of them from Elkridge, Maryland, and both transferred from CBCC Essex Community College. But before that, they played together at UMBC. And before that, Jalen was at Muhlenberg College at the junior college level. So they've played together now for 3 years, and that also in high school growing up as twin sisters. So how much chemistry do you create with somebody when you play with them for that long?
Well, my dad was a twin, so I can tell you that him and his twin brother, they knew what each other were thinking all day, every day throughout their whole lives.
Here is Clark underneath. Tough finish. Won't get it to go. Good defense from Brorman. North Florida trying to push the pace with Swan. Long floated pass. Pines Brorman. She works her way past Clark into the paint and gets fouled.
Yeah, that was a nice throw ahead by Swan. You know, Lyric Swan, she's the engine that makes this team go. And she's on the early all-name team so far versus the Wildcats with the name Lyric Swan.
Yes, she has the only retired jersey number in Longreach High School history in Elkridge, Maryland. That's boys or girls teams. She's the only one.
She's a scorer.
And has been everywhere she went. Last 2 seasons at UMBC, averaged 7.6 points. And then when she went down to the junior college level, averaged 21 points a game for CBCC Essex.
Yeah, big-time scorer. Anytime you can put 20 or more on the board, you know what you're doing on the offensive end.
Brorman misses the second free throw, but the ball kicks off of Camera Langston's foot, who just checked in for BCU, and the possession will stay with North Florida, who leads 6-4.
Oh, tough break for the Wildcats, but that was the other Swan who poked it off her leg out of bounds.
Rogier gets it back, floats it for Brorman, a little bit too tall. That's a size mismatch, but the ball is stripped by Edwards and a foul on the breakout. And they're going to grab Elisa Weselek for it.
Yes, but nice steal, good help defense by the Wildcats to collapse on the ball, pressure the ball, get the turnover. Our ball, let's see what we do on the offensive end.
That's the second steal for BCU early in the contest. North Florida gives up 7.8 steals per game on average. Nice pass into the middle. And a free throw line jumper is good for Cariana Woods to tie things up.
Nice flash to the open top of the key or elbow area. 2 points, Wildcats.
And that's the kind of shot creation that as a coach you really love to see. If your player gets that wide open in the middle, you've done something right. And almost another turnover here. The trap works. Woods on a break, and she gets stripped from behind. Nice track back by the other Swan. That's Jalen Swan.
Yeah. You know, I'm sure that's good scouting by our coaching staff because they set the double high stagger for her, and then they trapped it, and they got the turnover.
Third turnover for BCU. Out high here is Langston, and a foul called underneath. And, it went in. Excuse me. I looked down to read a note, and I missed so much. So it's going to be an and one opportunity for Nia Jordan, the transfer from Buffalo.
Yeah, she got bumped really hard, but still put it up on the basket, and it rolled in. Oh,
misses the and one opportunity. BCU still up 8-6 here. 5:47 to go first quarter. Lyric across to Jalen and around. Floated in for Borman, and you can tell early on they are looking for that size mismatch when Kayla Clark is off the floor, because Borman is about 6 inches taller than anybody else BCU has on their roster.
Yeah, and they seem to, every set they've taken on in the half court, they're trying to get first to the high-low action, then to get Swan open on a high screen.
Woods in the corner. Dribbles back to the top, and here's Morgan Beecham, the Wildcats' top scorer from last year. Can't get a tough running left-hand layup to go.
She left that one just a little short, but nice moves to get the shot.
They're trying to feed Westlake. Swan outside. Tight coverage, looking for the pick and roll. Finally gets it, and almost up and in, but just a little bit short on the layup. And the long rebound is eventually corralled in by Morgan Beecham.
Yeah, that play made me a little nervous. It didn't look like anybody was going to corral the ball.
Nice pass from Beecham. Open on the baseline is Wilson, and she can't finish under the basket. Odd man rush here for North Florida. Swan off her leg and out of bounds. BCU ball, and we have the first media time out. We'll take a short break. BCU and UNF going end to end, but not a lot of offense between the two here on the Cat Eye Network. Michael Torillo and Eric Dennis here at Moore Gymnasium as it is 8-6 Bethune-Cookman over UNF. And early on, BCU winning that turnover game. They've got 6-1 in terms of steals.
Yeah, you know, Coach Janelle's doing a great job of pressuring the UNF Ospreys, and it's resulting in some turnovers and extra opportunity. That's why the Wildcats have that 2-point lead.
And they have the ball after forcing another turnover right before the media timeout. Some full court press comes from the Ospreys. Got to get it over, and they do. Beecham in the front court. Long stretch pass to find Woods. Woods gets it back from Wilson. Can't make any separation. Now looking for somewhere to go with the ball. She does find Beecham. Looking for an elbow jumper is Wilson. She dribbles inside. Step back. Fade away. Splash.
You know, they executed their play through to the end, and that got her the jumper.
Chanel Wilson looking like the brightest star in, I want to say free agency, but it's not free agency. The transfer portal, the transfer from Indiana, has come in and made a huge impact on this program this season.
So again, you'll see that the Wildcats trapped the screen.
Corner three, front iron no good, and nice box out by Beecham. Numbers for BCU if they want to take it. Morgan into the front court. She just pulls up and misses it back iron.
Nice break. Good offense. Quick early offense for the Wildcats.
Underneath it goes. Nice pull up by Wesselek.
You know, the Ospreys are posting right under the basket. Early offense set plays, and it's going to be a problem for the Wildcats all game long. Especially
since BCU is almost forced to go with a smaller lineup with Moultrie out and Tucker out. And Clark really their only paint presence. Beecham thought about a contested three from the top, won't take it. Chanel Wilson will, though. It is a little bit too strong. Out of bounds. BCU maintains possession, as they say. It went off of Rogier.
You know, I like what I'm seeing from our Wildcats, though. They're setting the down screens, getting the open jumpers. They're doing a nice job of executing their offense. Let's see how it goes for the game, resulting in points.
And they're trying to get catch and shoots from three or otherwise, as we have Langston and Kayla White coming back in for BCU. That's what I've noticed. Like, they're going to pick and pops or screen and pops or
and with the bigs out, they're going to have to rely on that.
Here is Kayla White, one of the top players for BCU last year. Had a career-high 15 points against Florida A&M late in the season.
Shot clock down.
And a foul call as Wilson drive the lane. They're going to get Robsdottir for it. One of two really highly touted international prospects for this UNF team.
You know, and again, Coach Chanel did a great job of recognizing the shot clock, calling out an end-of-the-clock play, high screen and roll, going to the hoop, results in 2 free throws.
Wilson at the line for her first time today. Robsdottir has played for the U15, U16, U18, U20 teams for Iceland, and also has had 2 starts for the senior national team. So that is a very high level of competition.
I would love to go to Iceland one day and watch some basketball.
And like, her whole family is involved in sports. Her father is a UF A-level soccer coach, means the highest level of coaching rank you can get. Her aunt was a basketball player, and her uncle played in Daytona Beach for Embry-Riddle.
Wow.
As a basketball player. So
wonderful history, wonderful story. Athletic family.
Offensive board off the missed free throw for BCU. They lead 11-8. And is that an inadvertent whistle or?
You know, that's a common thing in all of college basketball where it's a missed free throw. If the other team gets it, the shot clock goes back full. If the offensive team gets the rebound, it goes back as if it were an offensive rebound. It's a very common shot clock error on all levels of college basketball.
Langston trying to get the play off. Wilson backs up, 10 to shoot. White.
Osprey's in his zone.
Wilson just pulls up, and it'll be a long 2 if it goes. It doesn't. And they're going to get an over-the-back call on Kamara Langston, the freshman from Chicago.
Yeah, you know, Osprey switched to that zone and kind of confused the Wildcats a little bit. They'll adjust to it, though.
Both teams struggling to shoot the ball early. Bethune-Cookman 28% from the floor. UNF 37%. Up high, here's Taub. Taub drives, puts up a wild layup and gets the foul. And it's going to be called on Chanel Wilson.
Yeah, let's hope that the Wildcats don't get in any foul trouble in this game. We're already down a few bodies. We need to keep everybody on the floor as much as we can.
Sarah Taub, a freshman from Marietta, Georgia. Averaged just under 10 points a game at Campbell High School and led her team all the way to the Georgia State Finals her senior year.
Nice left-handed shot. Looks like she's a good shooter.
Misses the second one. Offensive rebound out of bounds. BCU ball. And we've seen, aside from the shooting percentage being low, we've seen a lot of ball handling issues from both sides.
Yeah. You know, I think that our Wildcats have an edge in speed and quickness, and the Ospreys have an edge in size. So
turnover as they trap near the center line. Rob around to Robsdottir, and she hits a 3, and the lead goes back to the Ospreys. It's 12-11.
Yeah, and their little 1-2-2 is giving the Wildcats a little pause. Let's see if we can break it and get some offense out of it.
Wilson back to Beecham, into the corner. Kayla White bricks it off the front of the rim.
Now, another thing that their press is doing is it's speeding up the Wildcats, and maybe that's what the Ospreys want.
Long pass tipped away. DeShante Edwards, coast to coast, misses the layup.
Well, she went a little too far under the basket. It was nice position defense by the Ospreys to force her into that.
Taub draws the reach in from her opposite number, Morgan Beecham. Beecham last year, BCU's top scorer. 10.2 points a game, also 36 steals and 21 blocks for a player that is 5'6".
Yes, yeah, that's playing some defense right there.
And she leads the team in blocks this year already with 4. I think she was top 5 in the SWAC in blocks last year, and the only non-center to be on that list.
And we have Swan checking back in, Lyric Swan.
She's on the ball now, looking for the screen. She drives through contact. Good defense underneath by Langston. And then an immediate turnover to Taub. And Swan was still under the basket. Nice job by BCU to get back. Langston blocked a shot, and then the ball lands on the baseline.
You know, again, I got to give credit to the coaching staff. It is obvious that Janelle and her staff have scouted this team. They know what they're going to do, and they're in good position to stop it.
Lyric Swan still no points, 0 for 2. Her sister Jalen has 3 points out of 3. Here's a catch and shoot 3. Rattles around and out. The board for Woods.
Here come the Wildcats.
Woods pushes the pace, fakes the pass, goes cross court to Wilson. Wilson, left-hand drive, tries to shovel it under the basket to Langston, and it's intercepted. And that's going to be a double dribble as Taub lost control. That's a freshman mistake.
Nice break for the Wildcats. Nice break.
And the 7th turnover of the ball game for UNF. BCU still winning that battle 7-4.
You know, I think after, you know, we've got about 33 seconds left in the first quarter here. I think you're going to see both teams settle down in the second quarter and improve their execution on the offensive end.
It has been kind of frenetic, right, in the early going as both teams try to find their foothold in the game. Just a 1-point lead for UNF, 12-11. Daimani Dorsey into the game now, the freshman.
Sideline pick and roll.
That's going to be 3 shots going to the line.
Yeah, you never want to make that foul. That's a bad foul, but you have to challenge the shot. So just probably more of a mental error than a physical error by the Ospreys.
Chanel Wilson at the line. The transfer from Indiana, originally from Powder Springs, Georgia.
Yeah, 17 points, 7 rebounds a game. Am I reading that right?
You are correct. Actually, my numbers have her up at 16.8, but very close.
Yeah, I rounded it up a little bit. I gave her the .02. Gym's starting to fill up here as more students are coming in.
Yeah, doubleheader. Get your money's worth. I mean, if you're a student, you get in free. So
best price in town, right?
The best basketball is free basketball.
That's right.
So Wilson, 1 of 2 so far. She's only now missed 3 free throws all season.
Yeah, she's an excellent player. I mean, she really brings it for the Wildcats. We're lucky to have her in a Wildcat uniform.
A 3-time Georgia State High School champion at McCatcheron High School in Powder Springs.
And just fearless. I mean, she is just fearless in any aspect of the game on either end of the floor.
Final of a 3-shot penalty here. It is good. So the Wildcats take advantage of that foul on the 3-point attempt and take the lead with 14.8 seconds to go in the first quarter. A couple of changes as Daimani Dorsey checks back in, the freshman from Baltimore.
Wildcats extend the defense. No press, just extend it out.
Let's see if they can take this lead into the end of the first quarter. Swan, offensive foul. They're going to say she pushed off and caused Kariana Woods to slip.
You know, that's just a teaching error where the screener did not come and get in position, was out of position, and went ahead with the screen where she should have let her go. And
that's something I noticed doing the college basketball tournaments last week is officials this year, more than I can remember, are calling, I want to say ticky-tack fouls. 3 seconds left, wild layup, offensive rebound, put back, Kayla Clark gets it to go with the buzzer, and the Wildcats take a 3-point lead into the first quarter break. We'll continue our conversation about referees and more when we come back. This is BCU Basketball on the Cat Eye Network. Welcome back to more Gymnasium. Good start for the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. They're up 15-12 over the North Florida Ospreys. Both teams looking for their first win in a while. North Florida 1-4, Bethune-Cookman 0-5, but North Florida's only win was against NAI Warner. If we counted non-Division I games, Bethune-Cookman would be 1-6 as they beat Edward Waters in an exhibition game to open up the season. Now UNF starts with the ball. Here is Lyric Swan, still scoreless for UNF's top scorer.
Yeah, she'll eventually find her stride. I'm certain of that. She's too good a player.
Here comes the screen from Borman.
There's the high-low. They're looking for the high-low
Kick
again.
out, and a tripping foul is going to be called. Is into the game for the second time is Brianna Livingston. At the end of the first half, I was so rudely cut off by the clock, but I was talking about I was working a tournament over at the Ocean Center. Did 16 Division I games over 4 days. And something I noticed about the refereeing this year that I haven't noticed in previous years is they're calling a lot more hand checking and pushing off on the offensive side of the ball. You're getting a lot more offensive fouls that way than previously.
You know, being a former coach, I know how referees work. They're graded, and every year they'll put in a point of emphasis, so obviously that's the point of emphasis for this year.
Lyric Swan out to Livingston.
Oh.
Tried to screen him three, but takes the wide open layup from Gorman instead.
Yeah, defensive mistake by the Wildcats, left her wide open.
Woods slowly across the time stripe.
Ospreys go back to that zone. It seems to have had a nice effect for them in the first quarter, late in the quarter.
Yeah, it's frustrating the Wildcats a little bit because they can't get those drives that they want to. 10 seconds left. It goes into the paint, swatted away, but luckily comes straight back to Langston.
Down to 5.
4 seconds left. Kick out. 3 on the way. No good. At the horn for Kariana Woods. Swan into the front court, back to Livingston. Livingston almost picked up that pivot foot. Needs somewhere to get the ball. She goes to Swan. Screen and 3 off the front of the iron and no good. Woods with a nice rebound and she pushes the pace. This game is very end-to-end. Woods now slows it down.
Wildcats set up their zone attack offense.
They have not been able this far to break down the UNF zone. Now it goes inside to Kayla Clark. Underneath, trying to keep a hold of it is Edwards, and BCU will maintain possession.
You know, again, nice play execution by the Wildcats. Just the pass was a little hard on a low post pass. That's a play. That's intentional because the defense has to react on the high side. You seal on the low side, post-to-post pass. Gives you 2 points, but again, Osprey's got a hand on the ball. Wildcats underneath out of bounds.
All right, Wilson replaces Beecham on a team with not a lot of players that can attack the paint from outside. How do you beat a 2-3 zone like that?
Well, there's a couple of open places. Short corner it's called, or the high or mid post where a free throw is shot.
5 seconds. Wilson, wild layup won't go. Clark offensive rebound. I thought the clock should have reset. But anyway, Clark misses the rebound, the put back. In transition, 3 from the wing, too strong. Climbing the ladder is Edwards, and she gets tripped up from behind.
Yep, so going back to your question about attacking the zone, short corner is where you want to get the ball. It collapses the defense, or the high post, which brings the defense in, sucks them in, and then you can kick it out for an open jumper, an open 3, or if they don't react, the person has a shot right there. We saw it earlier in the first half. If you remember, she flashed to the middle and made that easy jumper. Let's get some more of that for the Wildcats.
So really the emphasis is probably going to be on Clark, the center, to make that space on the inside and set up her teammates.
Yep, there they are flashing. Anybody's flashing inside, you can see them.
McCulloch back on the floor after starting. Wilson, Clark on the baseline, overthrows it past to Edwards.
See, there was that short corner offense that we were talking about, but just the pass was not a good pass, but she was open.
If that ball is shoulder high, that's an easy layup underneath for Woods.
Yeah, let's see if they can correct that going forward. I'm sure they will.
Remember, this is a very young team for Bethune-Cookman, only 1 senior and 1 graduate student on this team. The rest sophomores or below.
High pick and roll.
A shoe comes off as it flies away from Rougier, and BCU comes up with the ball. Quick 5-on-4 as Rougier continues to play without some footwear.
Yeah, she's got the shoe in her hand.
Long pass, McCulloch open. She drives the lane. Body contact, doesn't get the layup to go.
Yeah, she passed up the jumper, tried to draw the foul, didn't work out for her.
Swan, nice hesitation. She gets clattered into by Clark, and she'll go to the line.
You know, usually, and I hope this doesn't happen, when a good scorer like her gets to the free throw line, if she makes a couple free throws, that could get them going. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
They actually call the foul on Cariana Woods. That'll be her first personal. Not a lot of foul trouble anywhere tonight. The only player with 2 fouls is UNF's Rob's daughter.
Yep, clean game so far.
And you can see Kayla Clark on the bench, a little bit shaken up. McCulloch as well. I think Coach Creighton is talking to McCulloch there, and she's maybe saying, hey, back yourself a little bit. Take that open 3.
Yeah, that may be the first free throw she's missed of the year. They have somebody shooting 100% from the line for them. I don't remember.
It is. Lyric Swan was 6 for 6 coming into the night.
Yeah. So now she's 6 for 7 on the year. You math majors out there, text us in or leave a comment on YouTube. Tell us what that percentage is.
Well, they don't go to the line very often, this UNF team. Now with Clark out, back to a small lineup. Outside jumper. Chase to the corner, and out of bounds. They'll call UNF ball.
Yeah, good hustle by the Wildcats, though, you know, to fight for the offensive rebound. They knocked it out of bounds, but it was good hustle. They've been doing a nice job on the offensive glass on those long three-point shot rebounds.
BCU 3 minutes without a point. And they're only 1 for their last 12, but still the game is tied. Cross-court pass. Jalen Swan gets to the paint. Her layup no good. Bounced out of the hands of Borman, and she steps on the baseline.
Yeah, she stepped clearly, referee in a good position. Sometimes that's tough to see, but she clearly stepped on the line when she had possession of the ball.
And I gain a lot of respect for referees being part of a table crew or being down on the floor with the amount of talk they get from coaches at this level, or the amount of things they have to keep track of in their head or keep an eye on. It's a tough job.
And again, what a lot of people don't know is that many of the games they are given a copy of the tape just like coaches, and they have to grade themselves, and the conference that they belong to also grades them.
Flying layup from Woods over the top, too strong. We may see a tie-up here. And we do. I think it's going to be UNF ball, actually.
I think so, too. I'm not sure where the possession arrow is, but it's
UCF, UCF,
BCU.
BCU ball. Wildcats take control off the tie-up. Oh, because the possession arrow changed at the end of the quarter.
Oh, that's right.
And there wasn't a change in the possession arrow in the first quarter.
Ah, there we go.
This is some of the things we miss by not being down there. There's no room at the table, but I would love to call the game from down on the floor. You do miss a lot. Here
in Moore Gym, we're not very far away from the court, but we are as far away as you can possibly be and still be in the gym from the court. We're way up in the corner.
Baseline out of bounds. Wilson sets it. Goes short. Layup good. And Daimani Dorsey finally breaks the duck. Only her second field goal of the year, and an immediate travel by Swan gives the ball back to the Cats.
Wildcats make 2 great plays, execute their out-of-bounds play, get a great execution, easy layup, and then pressure on the inbound of the Ospreys. It results in a turnover for the Wildcats. Let's see another underneath out-of-bounds play.
And that was a great out-of-bounds play that last time, and Dorsey was basically wide open right in front of Wilson, who was the inbounder.
Yep. So they broke the play here. They didn't stay with it because Coach wanted them to.
Coach Creighton calling a play. ISO for Wilson. Gets around a screen. Nice defense to fight through it. 3 from straight on. Splash for Nia Jordan.
Dribble penetration. Nice job, Wildcats. Create the offense. Open 3 points, Wildcats.
5-point run for BCU over the past minute or so. They lead at 20-15. Almost a steal for Edwards as she hounds Weselek. And eventually a reach-in foul is called. And
she knew it too. She knew she was a little too aggressive, and she was getting ready to pull back right when the ref called the foul. She was literally realized she was over-aggressive on that.
But that's been the game plan, right, for Coach Creighton and her staff on the defensive end is be aggressive. Try and force these turnovers. Try and get these traps.
Yeah, they are doing a nice job of pressuring the ball, aren't they?
11 turnovers for UNF so far in the ballgame. Only 5 for BCU. 5:20 to go first half. 5-point lead for the Wildcats. Borman up on top. Looks for somewhere to go with the ball. It's Wesolek. Wesolek drags her pivot foot, and that's a travel.
You know, the expert of your call, you said they're pressuring the ball, and there it is again. Another turnover created by the pressure defense of Coach Janelle.
I may have watched a little bit of basketball over my career.
All right, here they are. They're in the zone defense again. Let's see what the Wildcats can do with it.
Baseline, Nia Jordan fighting through all kinds of contact, tried to get it to Edwards. Somehow the ball is kept alive by Dorsey. Wilson draws a double team. Can't move that pivot foot, passes it away. Dorsey, long jumper, backboard, no good.
Yeah, she was on the side. She wasn't sure if she wanted to go straight in or bank, and it didn't go on either side. You got to know when you go up if you're going to go straight or bank. In
the post for Borman, and she continues to dominate in the paint.
Yeah, nice high-low action. The Ospreys getting back to their play that they wanted, and they got it. Nice feed by
Borman
Alyssa.
Up to 5 points, tied for the lead with all scorers, and she leads UNF. Baseline kick underneath. Edwards gets it swatted away by Borman. She is everywhere.
So I think the referee got mixed up. Let's see if they correct it. The ball definitely went off of the Ospreys, but she did point in the Ospreys' direction.
We'll see if they check it. It's immediate timeout. We'll take one, 20-17. Wildcats on top, nearing the end of the first half. Make sure you are representing Bethune-Cookman University Athletics to the fullest. Buy the latest BCU gear online at Bethune-Cookman Online Store. Go to bcuathletics.com, then click on Shop to find the newest BCU clothing and apparel. That's bcuathletics.com, and click on Shop. BCU up 20-17. North Florida with the ball after a BCU turnover out of bounds. It's a really tight one, as we kind of expected, with two teams with very similar records coming in to this evening's game.
Here comes the pressure defense from the Wildcats.
Lyric Swan, only 1 point for UNF's top scorer so far in this first half. Most of their scoring has come from the painted area with Borman. Borman up top now, hands back to Rougier. Rougier, nice baseline drive, trapped on the paint, goes far side to Hamzi, who's just checked in. Swan, a three, no good.
Yeah, Swan had a great look that time.
Long pass ahead, handoff underneath. The shot to Edwards, can't get the roll, and hands on head for the BCU bench right there.
You know, we've seen the Wildcats all season make those plays.
Wow.
And here they come again, another opportunity to the offensive end.
That was a tough miss for Wesolek, and I think she got too far underneath the basket and couldn't pull it back.
Yeah, she didn't realize where she was on the floor on the catch.
Under 4 minutes to go. Edwards across Beecham. Beecham this time takes the wide open three, a little bit short. It's going to come right back to her, and she taps it to Wilson.
Wildcats get another opportunity, offensive rebound. Here comes a shot.
Long two, off the mark, battling for the offensive rebound. The putback from Nia Jordan, and she will head to the free throw line.
Nice awareness by Mia to go to the ball. The ball came off long. She got to it, and she's rewarded with 2 free throws.
And that's the second time in this game that the Wildcats have had 3 offensive opportunities on the same possession. The offensive rebounding has been spectacular so far.
Yeah, and you don't have to shoot a good percentage when you keep getting opportunity after opportunity and more opportunities than your opponent.
You talk about percentages, 22% from the floor for BCU, and another missed free throw, that time from Nia Jordan. Jordan, a freshman from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, redshirted her freshman year at Buffalo, but played in just enough games.
And she makes the second, and she's been thrown into a lot of minutes tonight due to the injuries to the Wildcat bigs.
Specifically to Omariah Tucker, who is the second leading scorer on this BCU team through 5 games.
And she brings stability to the team as well.
Long pass ahead. Underneath it goes Borman, fighting through Edwards. Nice job by Edwards.
Yeah, and good collapsing help defense by the Wildcats.
Beecham. Back to Wilson. Really have yet to see Chanel break out. She's had 22 and 24 points in each of her last 2 outings.
Ospreys are sticking with this zone. Let's see if we can make them pay for it.
Up on top to Edwards. Wilson fires a long 3. Oh my goodness, the pinball machine is working for the Wildcats as they hit their second 3 of the night.
Nice roll, Wildcats 3-point.
Into the paint for Borman. Oh, what foot control from Wilson, keeping him in bounds. And now she races the other way. Gets to the paint, flips it up. Just doesn't get the roll that time.
She's missed a few of those tonight that she normally makes in other games.
Lyric Swan has been hounded defensively by Cariana Woods this evening, and she is up in her face again.
Yep, Ospreys a little confused on their offense.
Beautiful dribble drive by Livingston, offensive putback, Borman again.
Yeah, when somebody that big and strong is going to get offensive rebounds and putbacks, and there she does.
24-19, under 2 minutes to go in the first half. The ball swings around to Cariana Woods. She doesn't take the open 3.
Zone defense again.
The 3 from Wilson, just a little bit short. Neither team shooting the ball very well from outside this evening.
And the Wildcats look a little tentative on the 3s. They just got to shoot it. Hey, if you're open, put it up. That's what you're on the floor for.
They've shot the ball 12 times from beyond the arc, only hitting 2 of them. Ospreys 2 of 7 from outside. Borman again. I was going to say, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But the layup is wild. And here comes Beecham. Beecham drives, pull up from the free throw line, doesn't get the roll.
Oh, that was a tough break, tough roll.
The home rims and Moore Gymnasium not doing their job yet tonight. I thought Westerleck was going to pull up from about 30 feet. She doesn't. She hands it off to Livingston, and that's the second great baseline drive for Brianna Livingston.
Yeah, Wildcats don't want to give up that baseline. Should have forced her to the middle, but good offense by the Ospreys.
24-21, under a minute to go. BCU still on top. One touch passing, floater missed from Langston.
But there, that's good offense. You get the ball in there to the middle, you collapse the defense. Just didn't work out that time.
3-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Swan, Livingston, and now Taub. Taub takes a bump from her opposite number, shovels it to Borman, and they're going to get a foul called underneath. I think it's going to go against Woods. That would be her second.
Yeah, we may have gotten a break on that because that was a certain 2 points. Let's see if we can hold the line, stop the Ospreys from scoring in the last 12 seconds of the half.
Well, that does mean that BCU is unlikely to get another possession. 11.8 to go in the half, and both teams in the bonus now with 4 fouls. We've seen BCU go on these long scoreless streaks. They're scoreless for 2 minutes and 21 seconds, but then they get hot, they hit a couple of baskets, and then they go cold again. Poked out of bounds. Ospreys ball, 8 seconds to go.
And again, Wildcats, maybe, that looked like they were forcing them baseline that time, or maybe they were forcing Swan to her right. She prefers to go to her left.
Swan, the gunner, got to get it off. She does to Livingston. Livingston splits a double team out to Swan. Corner 3 off the top of the backboard. And BCU survives. And will head to the locker room with a low-scoring 24-21 lead at the break. So Coach Dennis, we've got a game on our hands here tonight.
Yeah, Wildcats up 3 at the half. It's not looking pretty. Both teams not shooting as well as they traditionally have so far this season. But they'll get a little rest, a little water, a little coach's encouragement. I bet you they come out and shoot a lot better the second half.
All right, I want to know one big tactical change that each coach is going to have to make at halftime.
Well, if I were coaching North Florida, I'm going to get Swan the ball and get her going. They have to get her going if they're going to have a better chance to win this game. For the Wildcats, I'm not going to change much. Maybe I'll encourage my shooters to have more confidence in their three-point shots, but on the defensive end, the coaching staff through their scouting, Coach Janelle has done a nice job of trapping when Swan comes off the high pick and roll and pressuring the offense that's resulted in a lot of turnovers.
The Ospreys have turned the ball over 13 times, the VCU only 5. UNF closed the half on a 4-0 run, but it's still a 24-21 lead for the Wildcats at the end of the first half. We'll take about a 15-minute break and then be right back for the second half here at Moore Gymnasium. Remember, lots more basketball action here to come on the Cat Eye Network. It's men's basketball against Chicago State after the conclusion of the second half of the Wildcats against the North Florida Ospreys. We'll be back after the break. This is BCU Basketball on the Cat Eye Network. Stay up to date with everything going on at Bethune-Cookman Athletics. Go to www.bcuathletics.com for schedules, stories, and the latest information on Bethune-Cookman University sports. Bookmark it and tell your friends. That's www.bcuathletics.com. Michael Trillo and Eric Dennis on the air with you here for a Bethune-Cookman basketball doubleheader. We're through one of 4 halves this evening, with the BCU women's basketball team leading 24-21 over the North Florida Ospreys. Both teams looking for their first Division I win of the year. Coach, we mentioned at the half, looking at some star players. For BCU, it's Chanel Wilson, as it's been all year, 8 points. That leads all scorers.
Chanel can flat out play. She has so much speed, quickness, and skill, and she's delivering for the Wildcats in the first half. Let's see if she can even take it up a notch in the second half.
And for UNF, it's not who we thought it was going to be. It's not Lyric Swan. It is Emma Brorman, who's got 7 points and 7 boards.
Yeah, Emma is asserting her physical skills and ability on the Wildcats, and it's resulting in production for the Ospreys.
But we did mention before we went to the halftime break that this is probably one of the best defensive performances we've seen from the Wildcats so far this season, scheme-wise.
Yeah, the coaching staff has done a great job scouting the Ospreys, and they are putting pressure on when they go into their high pick and roll to get Lyric Swan in her shooting groove. The Wildcats have either doubled or put good pressure on her to make her give it up, or a few times turn it over.
BCU only shooting 22% from the floor, but they have the lead courtesy of 6 of 10 from the free throw line. At the charity stripe, UNF only 3 of 6.
And you know who we left off is also Nia Jordan has had a nice first half.
Only played 8 minutes, has 6 points and 2 boards.
That's production in just 8 minutes. Amazing, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if we see her get some more minutes off the bench in the second half.
Yeah, she's certainly playing well. Let's see if it carries over into the second half. I'm going to say that it will.
BCU in the home gold and maroon. UNF from Jacksonville on the road in the blue, silver, and white. Looks like it's going to be same starting 5s for both teams as there were in the first half. So it's Livingston, Ramsdottir, Rogier, Swan, and Borman for UNF. Edwards, Woods, McCullough, Wilson, and Clark for BCU.
And the Wildcats come out in woman-to-woman defense,
as they've been for most of the first half. Thrown to the paint for Brorman, and she's going to go to the free throw line, and that's, if it ain't broke, don't fix it for UNF.
Yeah, but that was a nice set play to start the half by the Ospreys to get her the ball. She's been their leading producer, and the head coach recognized that, ran the play for her, and results in 2 free throws.
Now, I'm interested to see how many minutes Kayla Clark will play in this second half. She is the Wildcats' best answer to Berman on the inside, the 6'3 sophomore.
Yeah, we need her to shut down Emma on the offensive end. And she can produce her own on the offensive end, too.
Yeah, she's 2 for 4 from the field in the first half. UNF drops the gap to just 1. You know, 24-23.
We were talking off air, and you brought up a great point to go at Emma to force her into some fouls.
Let's see if they do that against this zone. Clark against Brorman. Oh, it hangs on the rim and doesn't fall. And that was really the big theme of the first half, is just barely missing these shots for BCU.
Yeah, and just like we talked about off air, there they are going right at Emma to put the pressure on her, maybe get her into foul trouble, get her off the floor.
That time she did good defense, almost another steal for the Wildcats. Driving inside is Rogier. She backs out. Borman to Swan. Swan guarded by Woods, as she was for most of the first half. Swan with a nice spin to get free. Mid-range jumper, missed it short. Brorman with her long arms grabs the miss. Swan another spin, trying to get by Woods. Behind the back, step back. Oh, almost brought out the highlight reel. A third and a fourth offensive rebound, and Brorman finally muscles it in.
Oh, the Ospreys certainly assert themselves on that play. Wildcats are going to call timeout and talk about that.
Yeah, that's not a great look. Your defense played so well in the first half, and I got to commend Kariana Woods, as she has been given the unenviable task of guarding Lyric Swan 1v1. She's doing a great job.
Yeah, if you saw in that last play how shifty Lyric Swan is with the ball, she she changed directions 3 or 4 times, and it eventually resulted in an offensive rebound for the Ospreys, who put it back. Emma got the board finally and put it back and in, and they've taken a 1-point lead.
Broerman up to 11 points and 9 rebounds, almost a double-double 2 minutes into the second half. Wildcat Nation, you can catch all BCU home games live on the Cat Eye Network. Be sure to tune in for all the best BCU volleyball, basketball, and more throughout the season. You can catch it live at youtube.com/Cat Eye Network. After our doubleheader tonight, we'll be back the 22nd of December, right? A little bit of Christmas holiday basketball, as it's the men's side for the UNF Ospreys coming to town to finish a home-and-home series with Bethune-Cookman this month. That's a rarity in college basketball.
It really is a rarity in college basketball, isn't it? And you know what usually happens is you get, like, you've got almost your schedule filled on both teams, and these coaches know each other, and they're like, hey, did you fill your schedule yet? I'm struggling to get the last game. You know, I am too. Let's just play each other.
As that'll be up in Jacksonville next week, and then down here the 22nd. That'll be a good match, as UNF has long been one of the premier basketball programs in the state of Florida on the men's side.
Yeah, it's a wonderful school. They have great academics there, a nice place to play. But let's see if the Wildcats can sneak in there and walk away with a W.
Once again, the men's team for BCU on the floor tonight. Eric and I will have the call as the Wildcats take on the Chicago State Cougars, a rare FBS independent. FBS, that's football. Well, NCAA Division I independent coming into Moore Gymnasium this evening.
School on the south side of Chicago. It's known as the Teachers College because they produce so many professional educators and teachers.
Baseline jumper for Langston, no good. UNF looking to push the pace with Livingston. Livingston falls over, no foul. And now a whistle.
You know, when Livingston went down, technically, according to the rules, that should have been a travel, but
well, they got the travel eventually.
We got the travel eventually.
Here's 4 minutes of game time without a field goal for Bethune-Cookman, as they now trail by 1.
Oh.
Dribbling it off her foot is Beecham, and the possession arrow favors the Wildcats.
Yeah, you know, that was a nice start of the play against their zone defense, where you set a screen on one side of the defense, but unfortunately she dribbled it off her leg. Wildcat ball, though.
Lyric Swan comes out of the game. She's replaced by the freshman Sarah Taub. And also Nia Jordan back in, the transfer from Buffalo. BCU maintains possession after that ball was tapped out by Taub.
Yeah, good reaction by the Ospreys. Wildcats got to be a little more careful with the ball.
I've been impressed by Sarah Taub, the freshman from Marietta, Georgia, in the few minutes that she's played tonight.
Yeah, she's played well.
Here is McCulloch. Inside, looking for a place to go. McCulloch, wing 3 at the shot clock. It missed everything, and that'll be a shot clock violation. So,
yeah, nice skip pass to get the open jumper. And again, you know, she's such a good shooter. I'm sure she's going to make a few of those as this game goes on.
But again, the 2-3 zone for UNF really causing the Wildcats a lot of grief on the offensive side.
Yeah, they just haven't found the rhythm against that zone, have they?
Broerman, oh look, nice steal by Beecham. Maybe a little bit of pace will help the Wildcats. Beecham can't finish, but a nice offensive rebound is gathered underneath by Jordan. Tries to throw it to a teammate, and McCulloch couldn't corral.
Yeah, great effort by Mia. Unfortunately, it's the Ospreys' ball.
A couple of turnovers to start the second half for BCU. Still winning that battle 15-6.
You know, and Morgan did a nice job of pushing the ball. The defense didn't stop her, so she took the open jumper at the free throw line. She usually makes those. Unfortunately, that one didn't rattle in.
It's been a tough start to the season for Morgan Beecham. 0 of 5 tonight, shooting only 17.8% from the floor on the season.
Yeah, she'll find her rhythm. I'm certain of it.
Remember, she was the Wildcats' top scorer last year and the only one to average double digits at 12 points a game. Here's Swan with that nice left-hand flick. Can't get it. and Borman taps it out on the rebound.
You know, all of her shots like that one have been so close to going in, but thank goodness for the Wildcats that they are not falling for her tonight.
Now, something I've talked to athletes about, is different venues can throw off your shot when there's, different things behind the goals. Hold on, I'll finish my point after this drive and kick. McCulloch from Wilson. McCulloch tried to go back to Wilson. Clark trying to corral. She does. And if that's a jump ball, it's going to be UNF ball, and it is. But my end of my point is that in an unfamiliar building, especially one like this where there's flat walls behind each goal, something you might not be used to.
And, and a great example of that is that game that they played on the aircraft carrier, Gonzaga and Michigan State. So as I watched a little bit of that as they were warming up and they were talking to the announcers and interviewing people. But in the background, you could see many of those top-notch college athlete basketball players at premier programs were shooting air balls trying to figure out their sight lines on an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, it's like playing outside,
Yeah.
going to your local park and shooting some hoops.
Yep, and when you got a jet flying by in the background, it's hard to shoot.
Foul going to be called on the drive, and it looks like Kalia Rogier will go to the free throw line. Rogier from Savannah, a sophomore. Freshman year averaged 3.4 points a game.
Yeah, and the foul was on Morgan Beecham, I think.
Yeah, but averaged 22 points a game at Beach High School. So she can score.
She's a lefty, Swan's a lefty, and the freshman is a lefty for them. I've never seen three lefties on the floor at the same time for any team in my basketball career.
Rogier missed them both. Wilson, a drive, a layup, and traffic, and she'll go to the free throw line, and maybe from the free throw line, the Wildcats can get something going.
That's Wilson's game. She easily penetrated the defense to get the shot, fouled to the line. Let's see if she can put these in. What's she shooting from the do we know what she's shooting?
She is tops at the free throw line, 93%.
That's what I thought. Let's see if she can deliver here.
And she's only missed 3 free throws all season.
We haven't scored this half, have we?
No, we have not, and over 6 minutes of game time without a bucket.
Yeah, so let's see if this can break the ice right here.
Wilson, with the most experience on this team by a long margin, puts it in, and the Wildcats are finally on the board. And I think BCU is leaning on their defense a little bit because they're only down 2 after being scoreless for 6 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you need, though, is just to get something going, and there she is. She makes them both. Let's see if this goes our way now. Oh, we start out in a full-court press.
Try to turn the ball over, as they did 15 times in the first half. Taub with some space, now runs into traffic, kick to the corner. Rogier, a 3, missed everything. The ball is out of bounds. Excellent job by Kayla Clark to slam it off the shoulder of Borman.
Very smart play. She had to grab the ball or the other player would have saved it. She used her height to her advantage, but then bounced it off her back. Brilliant play.
BCU with an extra possession now. They finally scored. They're 1 for their last 14 from the field. Wilson to Dorsey, trying to get a baseline drive going. Dorsey has to back out.
Wildcats swinging around. There we go. Into the high post. Nice
drive by DeShante Edwards, and the Wildcats take the lead.
Wildcats did a nice job of swinging the ball, breaking down the defense, and getting the bucket.
First bucket of the night for Edwards. Crossover from Swan, stripped by White. Here comes Wilson, all the way to the hoop, and it's a tie-up.
Oh, I thought that the other ref was gonna call the foul, but they discussed it. They're gonna call it jump ball. Still the Wildcats ball.
Yeah, we've seen 3 jump balls in this game already.
Yep.
Not often you see that, but again, I think maybe getting to the line and hitting those 2 shots are what the Wildcats needed, because you can definitely tell the energy is back for BCU after it was a little bit absent here to start this third quarter. 5:37 to go in it. We've almost reached the halfway point, and I think only 7 points have been scored combined.
Yeah, let's just hope that there we go.
Oh, backdoor pass. Left-hand layup is in for Cariana Woods.
So now after the 2 free throws, we scored 2 quick buckets, and it did break the ice. Let's hope the Wildcats can keep that going.
Borman again on a post-up, just gets that floater to go.
And Chanel Wilson came over on the help side, but she was just a little late, and Emma's size certainly helped her score.
It's tough to guard someone who's 6'3", and has the arm span of a fighter jet.
Yes.
Nice backdoor pass again. Edwards couldn't get the tough layup to go.
Yeah, she didn't gather very well. Again, maybe take a little more time. She could have converted that.
Here is the other Swan sister. Jalen tried to throw it in the post, and it's knocked away by Clark.
They are really looking for Emma in the post.
Kick out. Drive. Wilson tried to shove it underneath through traffic and turns the ball over.
Yeah, she passed up the shot and put it into a turnover. Tough break.
Rougier gets the ball swatted away by Dorsey. A third straight turnover for BCU.
Dorsey's been active on the defensive end, getting her hand on the ball and creating some opportunities for turnovers.
Dorsey now tries a three. Does she have the hot hand? No, it barely doesn't go.
No, yeah, she's a good three-point shooter. Let's get her some more opportunities.
Dorsey, that was her first her fifth three-point attempt of the year. Hasn't hit one yet. Both Swan sisters in the game now, Jalen and Lyric.
There's Jalen.
Back to Rougier. Borman in the post, just shoves off Clark and one.
Yeah, I don't care who it is. You cannot, as a teammate, let your player alone on the low block like that. They got to get help, especially on somebody as good as Gorman.
And before the free throw, we're going to go to a media timeout. BCU with a slim tied game, 30-30, approaching the end of the third quarter here on the Cat Eye Network. Wildcat fans, BCU women's basketball returns to Moore Gymnasium January 14th at 2 p.m. as they host Mississippi Valley State in the conference home opener for the second season of the SWAC for BCU's. Tickets start at $15. Come on out and support your Wildcats, or you can catch it live on the Cat Eye Network. This is another big incentive for BCU to get a win. It's their last home game for over a month.
Yeah, we need a W. We need to get that first W. And like we talked about with the free throws breaking the ice for our scoring, a win will get us going in the win column too.
And that one hangs on the rim and in for Borman, and UNF takes a 31-30 lead.
We can't let Gorman get going. She took up a great position. Oh, bad turnover by the Wildcats.
Yeah, tough turnover, tough pass by Nia Jordan as she came in to replace Kayla Clark at the timeout.
But let's get her some help in the post defense. They're going to keep going to Gorman until we stop it, and we did a good job of stopping it in the first half.
And now Morgan Beecham comes back in. She'll replace Chanel Wilson. I'm guessing Wilson's just going to get a bit of a break before the final run to the finish. As Wilson has played a game-high 24 minutes tonight.
See, they're double teaming Gorman. Good. That's good.
That means somebody's open. It is Livingston, and she's stripped to the ball on a baseline drive.
Yeah, that was nice defensive adjustment by Coach Janelle.
Beecham across to DeShante Edwards. Excuse me, that's Woods. Dorsey back to Beecham. Does she take a three? Yes. No good again.
Eventually, we got to get some of these threes going down.
Only 2 of 14 on the night from beyond the arc for BCU. Open three for Taub from the corner. She misses. And the diminutive Beecham, only 5'6", gets the board.
Yeah, good rebound by her. Good positioning.
And a bounce pass to nobody in particular gives the ball back to the Ospreys.
Yeah, Wildcats did not execute on that play. Little miscommunication results in a turnover.
Now,
you know who's had a decent floor game or who's helped UNF is Brianna Livingston has played steady for them, giving them some good minutes.
only 4 points for Livingston, but she has been kind of the point guard who runs the offense. A nice pass ahead. The ball hangs on the rim and drops for Rougier. Rougier, that's her first field goal of the night. She's up to 3 points.
Yeah, nice press break offense by them. Wildcats did not react.
Dorsey looking for somewhere to go with the ball. It's back to Beecham. Double teamed is Jordan. Ball kicks off her foot. UNF gets a third straight turnover.
You know, the Wildcats, they're having a real tough time with that zone defense. They're just not getting in a good rhythm and getting anything out of it. They got to keep getting the ball in the middle, and whoever the Wildcat is that catches the ball in the middle has just got to be a little bit stronger than they were on that last play.
Cameron Langston comes back in for BCU. It'll be her job to guard the paint. Taub going 1v1 and just lobs it up for Borman. She gathers her own miss. Put back forthcoming, and a jump ball that'll stay with the Ospreys.
Now, what's interesting about the North Florida offense on that is they ran a weave, which you would think is a guard to get a guard a shot, but the whole play was set up to get her the ball, and they did it.
Borman in the corner, not where she wants to be.
Let's hope they keep double teaming her.
It's sent back around to Rougier, off the hands of Robsdottir. Rougier around a hard screen into the corner, 3 on the way, off the mark. And Borman another offensive rebound, but she dribbles it off her foot and out of bounds.
You know, the Wildcats defense, when she got the offensive rebound, they trapped her. It was 3-on-1, and she had nowhere to go with the ball, and luckily it went off her out of bounds. Wildcats get a nice opportunity there. We're down 3. Let's see if we can score here and narrow that 3 gap.
Borman up to a double-double, 16 points, 10 boards.
Yeah, she's really asserting herself on the floor tonight on the statistics. There it is.
Drive, kick. Beecham thought about a 3, won't take it. Daimani Dorsey shorts, and again, it's a lack of quality looks for BCU. Again, underneath Borman. She has such a massive mismatch as he's going to go to the line for another and one.
Yeah, the double team came a little late. Ospreys take advantage of it. Emma is playing well tonight. Wildcats got to react to that. I'm sure Coach Janelle has something up her sleeve that she can throw out there. And here she comes, number 25, back in the game.
Clark back in with 2 fouls. Wilson back in as well. Borman from Okena, Ohio, a senior who's played all 4 of her college seasons at UNF, a rarity in the modern collegiate landscape.
Yeah, with that transfer portal, it certainly has changed the landscape of the game.
She was the only Osprey to play and start in all 30 games last season. And he averaged 9 points and 5 rebounds per game a season ago. She has almost doubled both of those statistics tonight.
Yeah, bad play by the Wildcats there on that turnover. There was no need to make that play, but she did lose her balance on the rebound. She was worried about traveling.
Borman sets the screen for Rougier. Rougier on an ISO play, tries to spin away from Wilson. Step back, short. Clark grabs the miss.
Here come the Wildcats. Come on, let's get something good.
Long stretch pass ahead. It's going to be BCU ball after Livingston knocked it out of bounds. Excuse me, Rob's daughter knocked it out of bounds.
See if the Ospreys stay in this zone offense. You know, we may get a break. Emma went out for a rest. Let's see if we can get the ball inside and score.
Now, and Borman, I thought was going to be replaced by Lyric Swan, who's been out of the game.
Yeah, she's not playing very well. Coach is playing who's playing well.
Borman. Woods was trapped, got it in the corner for Dorsey. Here's a three from Beecham short.
Wildcats are getting some good shots. They're just not dropping tonight.
Under 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. Just a 5-point lead for UNF.
Yeah, it's been a bad third quarter for the Wildcats. Only 6 points in the quarter.
And they were up to 6 minutes without a bucket before they scored. Now they're up to 5 minutes without a bucket again. Three on the way. It's good for Elisa Weselek, and that's the end of the third quarter. UNF gets hot towards the end of the third and runs up an 8-point lead. They'll take a 38-30 lead into the start of the fourth quarter. We'll be back shortly. This is BCU Basketball on the Cat Eye Network. Stay up to date with everything Bethune-Cookman Athletics by checking out the Wildcats on social media. Give BCU Athletics a like on Facebook and follow the Wildcats on Twitter and Instagram at BCU Athletics. For the latest on BCU women's basketball, that's BCU_WBB.
You know, we were talking during the break about how the Wildcats prepared for this game. You know, UNF has played a lot of woman-to-woman defense so far this year, so that's where the majority of the emphasis was by the coaching staff, and you can see that switching to the zone defense has really hurt the Wildcats this evening.
Still a very winnable game for BCU. They're down 8. If the offense finds its scoring rhythm, this could very easily be a Wildcat victory. Wilson tried to float it for Clark and just overshot. And we've seen a couple of those passes in this second half. Wildcats up to 13 turnovers.
Yeah, you know, you got to read the defense, take what the defense is giving you. There was a man in front and a man behind the offensive player on that play. Maybe swing it back around, try again from the other side.
Kick out to Weselek.
Wildcats in man-to-man doing a good job here.
Now Rob's daughter throws up a wild layup that almost goes, but it's rebounded by Deshante Edwards.
You know, Wildcats got to push the ball up the floor, even after a basket, even after a miss, get some opportunities, make some opportunities.
Woods in the corner. Back to Wilson.
There we go.
Wilson gets it back, shoots a flat three, and it caroms off the backside of the rim. Edwards tried to follow through but couldn't keep her feet in bounds.
But it was an open three. She shot it with confidence. Let's keep those going.
And that really seemingly has been the game plan for Coach Creighton tonight is get the open three, shoot the open three. They've had 18 shots. Unfortunately, they've only hit 2 of them.
Yeah, the players got to step up, make a few more of those.
8-point lead for UNF. Kick out into the corner, open three for the freshman Taub, overshot it, and that was almost like a long pass to Rob's daughter, but she can't convert the second chance opportunity.
Yeah, we got lucky on that. Here come the Wildcats.
Woods tried to go underneath, and it's picked off by Livingston. Livingston all the way the other way, and she'll go to the free throw line.
Oh, yeah, you know, points off of turnovers are hurting us right now. 38-30, Wildcats got to come back. Relax, play your game, get that pressure defense back on the Ospreys that worked so well, that got us so many turnovers and opportunities in the runouts to score.
Well, we had a little bit of a reprieve, but Ever Borman is coming back onto the floor.
Yeah, she's rested now.
First one goes down. Neither team shooting very well from the free throw line tonight. 58% for North Florida, 66% for Bethune-Cookman.
Lead stretches out to double digits.
Here comes Brorman back in for Livingston.
And they're in that soft 1-2-2 press. Let's see if the Wildcats can make them pay.
BCU's turned the ball over a couple of times out of that position. They do get it into the front court. Wilson Trotter on the offense, gets it to Edwards. And a lazy pass is picked off by Taub, and she'll lay it in the other way.
Yeah, momentum has definitely swung to the Ospreys. Wildcats.
It is a 14-0 run for North Florida across the quarter break.
Yeah, they are really doing.
Wilson to the lane, and finally the offer is broken by Chanel Wilson. Nice pass.
Yeah, Wildcats pushed it up, got the offense going. Let's see if it continues.
Taub. Rob's daughter in the corner. And it's going to be an over the back against Clark. That's her 3rd foul, so she's got to be careful.
You know, Emma versus Clark. If you replay that, wind it back a little bit, you'll see Emma just move Clark wherever she wanted to with her size and strength.
And that's just, I think, senior against the sophomore. Again, pick and roll, offensive foul. Nice position underneath from Mia Jordan to take the charge.
Smart play by Mia, saw that the ball was going to be fed to her, got her position set, created the charge. Good job, Mia.
UNF loves that pick and roll from the top of the key with Brorman. High pass corralled by Edwards. Coach Creighton calls a play. Oh, Chanel Wilson, that was pretty. Clark trying to grab the miss, bats it underneath. Jordan can't finish.
Jordan may have taken a little contact that the referees may have overlooked on that one.
Taub to the corner, 3 on the way. Front iron no good for Rob's daughter, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Yeah, team rebound to the Wildcats. Hey, they're picking up the pace, right? Wildcats are giving a little more energy on that offensive end. Let's see what happens this trip.
And the first offensive rebound for the Wildcats of the 4th quarter on the last trip down the floor. Chanel Wilson ISO'd against Taub.
Swing it, attack.
There's just nowhere to go with the ball in the interior zone. They leave Beecham open. She can't hit the 3. Clark lays it back to Deshante Edwards to lay it in.
Yeah, great play by Mia. Mia got a hand on the offensive rebound, tapped it back to her for the easy lay-in bucket.
42-34, Taub fakes the 3, drives, kick out, extra pass to the corner, and it'll stay with the Ospreys as I believe that was Nia Jordan diving on it. No, it was Beecham.
Yeah, that was an unusual play. Beecham went after the ball, and the Osprey had no idea where the ball was. It was between her legs. It was actually, she lost sight of it, but unfortunately she was out of bounds when she got control of the ball.
Beecham comes out. Both the Swan sisters are in, Lyric and Jalen. Lyric the gunner into Rob's daughter. The Icelandic international kicks to the corner. A three on the way is over everybody, over Borman's hands. It's fought for in the corner, and UNF maintains possession much to the, oh no, it's Wildcat ball. Second opportunity, the referee changes her mind.
Yeah, that was a good eye by you. She did change her mind. She's thought about it and realized it went off the UNF player. Wildcat ball.
Only an 8-point deficit, 6 minutes to go. Still a lot of chances for BCU in this game. Yamani McCulloch has checked back in for the Wildcats. McCulloch floats to Clark. Across to Wilson. Wilson. Edwards, she's had the hot hand, kicks back to Wilson, open for three. Kicked off the side of the rim, and it eventually falls to Lyric Swan.
Yeah, she looked comfortable in that. She's just got to put them through.
Swan sister to Swan sister, and Jalen drains the three.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen that tonight, right? The Swan sisters deliver.
BCU takes a timeout. It's not the media, so we'll stay right here and talk about the Swans a little bit more. Both of them from Elkridge, Maryland. The twins have played pretty much their entire college careers together at UMBC, at Essex Community College, and now at UNF for the past 2 years.
Yeah, they really teamed up. Good communication to them, and one Swan to the other for three. The smaller one with the wonderful name, the Swan Song. The all-name team.
We've talked about Lyric Swan as she's the top scorer for North Florida, but Jalen can hold her own, a 4-year letter winner and a 4-year varsity player at Long Reach High School, just like her sister, averaged 10 points in her career, 2 Maryland State title game appearances, averaged 24 points per game at Muhlenberg College her freshman year, then transferred to UMBC to play with her sister. So
yeah, she looked really comfortable on that three-point shot, and it was a nice setup by her sister to get her the wide open three. But what I like, what I'm seeing from the Wildcats have taken their intensity up a little bit. Even though we're down, I feel a little bit of momentum evening up, maybe swinging the Wildcats' way. We got 5 minutes and 31 seconds to make up this deficit and win this game.
After this, the Wildcats are on the road for 4 games. They go to New York State to play St. John's and Iona, the 11th and 13th.
Yeah, and they've got some nice things planned. They're gonna go to Times Square and walk over to Rockefeller Center, which is about a half mile away, and then they're even gonna go over. Nobody knows, but the NBA league office is right next to St. Pat's Cathedral. It's a big black glass building, and nobody knows the NBA is even there.
It's funny, I'll be in New York City at the same time, but not covering the Wildcats. My brother is graduating college. He goes to the new school, so I'll be up there for that. Yeah.
Make sure you stop by the league office.
Clark tries to muscle Borman, and Borman gets a block. It'll stay with the Wildcats.
You know, we haven't talked much about her defense. You know, she has really taken away the Wildcats' inside game, and that's hurt us.
Second block of the game for Borman. Edwards to Wilson. And Imani Dorsey a drive. Again, stopped up at the free throw line. Nice defense from Livingston.
5 on the clock.
5 minutes to go. Wilson with a step-back jumper and drains it.
You know, that's one of those shots. That's what we need her to do. She didn't think about it. She just reacted, played her game. 2 points, Wildcats.
Back to a 9-point game under 5 minutes to go. Livingston. Another three from Jalen Swan. No good this time. Rebound Edwards. Edwards hesitation. Dorsey across to Wilson. Wildcats trying to set up the play.
We've got to penetrate that zone.
It still just travels around the outside. 10 to shoot. Wilson crossover. Gobbled up by Swan. Dorsey with 3 to shoot. Steps inside. Free throw line jumper. Very flat and missed it. Offensive rebound. Jordan. And I think she's going to go to the free throw line. Yeah.
I don't know if she'll get the free throws, but she definitely got fouled. She definitely got knocked down.
No, it's going to be a baseline in. The referee was pointing to the baseline. I thought she had 2 fingers up and not 1.
Yeah, yeah. They've got 2 up, so I see where you say that. I don't know what they're communicating. Maybe that's just the second team foul.
It is the second team foul on UNF. Got to get the ball in, Wilson. Risking a 5-second violation. Edwards falls over. The ball goes to Livingston. Backdoor pass. And
Lyric finally
Lyric
on the
Swan
board.
finally on the board. That's her first point of the night. First field goal tonight. She had 1 for 2 from the free throw line earlier. Dorsey and Clark, and another turnover as they tried to break the zone. Taub, backdoor pass, and back to Taub from Rougier, and a quick 4-point swing and another timeout for BCU, and that'll be the media timeouts.
Yeah, Coach Janelle with a good timeout. Let's talk it over. Come on, let's get it going, Wildcats.
Crunch time for BCU. It's 49-36 UNF right here on the Cat Network. We'll be back to close the game. Remember, basketball action does not finish in the next 3 minutes and 38 seconds tonight. We got the BCU men's team coming into Moore Gymnasium to take on Chicago State on a long road trip from the guys from Southside. They'll be in town. You don't want to miss that one coming up on the Cat Eye Network about half an hour after this game ends. And you can just see the BCU men's team coming out of the locker room to support the women's team last couple of minutes of this game.
You know, we almost had to play this game away and borrow a gym at Embry-Riddle University. We had a little AC trouble because of the storms, both the storms that hit BCU so hard.
Wilson, a bullet pass, and Woods can't handle it.
So we had to overnight a part that was rare and hard to get. Assistant Athletic Director Scott Summer took the point on that and saved the game tonight here.
Full court press break by UNF leads to an easy layup by Rougier. And it's 51-36, and looking at the score, you wouldn't believe that this game was within 5 points both ways for most of it.
Yeah, the Wildcats have just had a very bad scoring half.
It's been a tough break for BCU. It's not like they've gotten bad looks or had been poor offensively as Edwards weaves through it. It's just they haven't gotten things to fall. They've gotten bad bounces off the rim. Everything's been contested, and that's just good defense by UNF.
Yeah, even that last shot by Edwards, you know, she makes those, but they're just not dropping tonight.
Timeout UNF as Swan was about to turn the ball over. After the New York trip for BCU, they'll play St. John's and Iona. They head across the county to play Winthrop and Akron at the Stetson Invitational.
You know, top 10 women's teams this week. Right now, we have Iowa at 10, Virginia Tech at 9, Iowa State at 8, Notre Dame at 7, North Carolina 6, Indiana 5, Ohio State 4, UConn 3, Stanford 2, and can you guess who's the #1 women's team in the country?
I think I'm only going to need one guess. I think it's South Carolina.
South Carolina. They have really built a strong program there in the last few years. Dawn Staley, coach, is really doing an amazing job there for the Gamecocks.
BCU on defense, down 51-36, 2:33 to go. This would be UNF's first D1 win of the year as they beat NAIA Warner all the way back in the first weekend of November. Step in for Swan. She's been very cold tonight And then Clark is fouled on the rebound, and I think she'll go to the line as that's the bonus for VCU.
Yeah,
no, they one away.
One away. Wildcats need to attack. Let's see what Coach Janelle talked about during the timeout. See if Wildcats can react to that timeout and come out and get a bucket here.
And in a game like this, as we've seen Kayla White check in for only the second time tonight, you kind of want to test the waters, maybe try some different rotational pieces, see what works together for games down the road. Nice backdoor pass to Wilson. It continues on the baseline and cycles through for Woods. Woods, a floater, back iron no good. Long rebound for Robsdottir.
Nice action, nice penetration, nice shot by the Wildcats. Again, they're just very cold tonight.
Swan almost had the ball poked away from her. Gets the ball out of the double team, rifled a pass to Robsdottir in the corner. That looks like it's an offensive foul, and it is. And that's the second time we've seen that hand check called an offensive foul, and Robsdottir picks it up.
Yeah, she definitely pushed off. Wildcat defender had the position on the baseline, foot on the baseline. She couldn't get there. Offensive foul, turnover.
Almost a third step from Edwards there. Woods drives the lane, and again, the lid stays on the basket.
The lid is on the basket.
And you just looked at me with like a look of disbelief.
Yeah, you can't see it on the radio, but I just threw my hands up with that look of disbelief on my face that those are shots that the Wildcats hit.
And this would be, I don't think they're going to get anywhere close to their previous low-scoring mark of the season, which was 50 points against Florida State to open up the season in November. There's a three from Lyric Swan, and she's finally off the mark with under a minute to go.
Yeah, she nailed that three. That looked like the Lyric Swan we expected for this game.
Coming up, North Florida continues. Oh, there's a three. Or two, excuse me. Oh, sorry, it was a three for Chanel Wilson. Yeah, I looked down to read a note, and
yeah, she just came down, brought it up the left side of the floor, went up, bam, three from deep.
Sometimes, when the game is gone like this, you just use it as shooting practice.
Yeah, players relaxed. I mean, the game's out of reach with 45.3 seconds to go, unless we can score a touchdown and get an onside kick and go in for another 7. This game's pretty much over with.
Unless we switch games in the next 40 seconds, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think we have that play available, do we?
My point was North Florida. They're coming up. They're going to go to South Florida and play Miami 3 days from now. That's a tough trip. They're going to be home against Trinity Baptist. And then how about this for a road gauntlet to close non-conference play at Auburn, at Alabama, at Stetson.
But so nobody any good is what you're saying, right?
No, not at all. So North Florida really is going to be tested, and then they'll play their first conference game against Queens College on the 5th of January.
Queens College is an amazing story about just how they have really come up from being at the smaller level to D1, and they're really competing at a high level and doing well.
Yeah, they got a really nice gym, too. I've seen it on ESPN a couple of times.
Yeah, wonderful facility. We were actually talking about them earlier today in the office, just coincidentally that you bring them up.
Inbounds play for UNF, 47 seconds to go. We never talked about Derek Gibbs, the head coach for North Florida, who was a 10-year assistant at Miami, so he's going back home in 3 days' time. Turnover for UNF as Tom stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, Miami women's team, they're usually pretty strong down there. So he's taken a bite of the big time there, but that's where he was. You always want to play who you know, where you work. It'll be a good trip for him.
And this is a UNF team, as Woods is fouled. This is a UNF team that graduated perhaps the best player in UNF history in Jazz Bond. Was the first ever WNBA draft pick for UNF last year. Went to the Dallas Wings. And just trying to fill that massive hole.
Yeah, it's fun to see the WNBA. It's getting more and more exposure, more and more popular. Salaries are rising for the women's side players. It's good to see that.
Yeah, I'd love to have a WNBA team back here in Orlando locally.
Yeah, you know, they're the team Connecticut Sun or whatever they were, right? They were in Orlando. Yeah.
But I think it's only a matter of time before expansion of the women's game happens.
Well,
right?
my favorite player, and I'm being serious when I say this, of all the players right now is Kelsey Plum. The way she plays, the pressure she puts on the offense, and how she plays for the WNBA champion Las Vegas Aces.
Actually, my favorite player is her teammate, Asia Wilson.
Oh yeah,
Asia's
really good.
I love watching her play.
Yeah.
28 seconds to go. Clark catches the inbound back to Wilson. She's going to fire a wing three and hit again. So that's 6 quick points for Chanel Wilson here at the end of the game. You know, pressure's off. Why not take a shot?
Yeah, Chanel's showing what she can do.
18 seconds to go. UNF gets it into the front court. They don't have to continue to play as the shot clock is off. They'll just dribble it around. BCU won't foul. Actually, Kayla White tried to foul with 5 seconds to go, but they will just run the clock down. And UNF gets out of here with a 54-43 victory, their first D1 win of the season for the Ospreys and head coach Derek Gibbs. It was close for a long time in this game, and eventually the offense of UNF got going, and BCU was just cold all night. They ended only 24% from the floor.
Yeah, the difference in the game was when North Florida went to that zone, the coaching staff for North Florida noticed that BCU was struggling with the zone attack. And then at halftime, they came out with it again, and only 6 points in that quarter. And what did we wind up with? Maybe only 13 in the fourth quarter, I think, right?
Yeah,
So you know, zone, we struggled against that zone defense, and I got a feeling that will be a point of emphasis at the next practice for the Bethune-Cookman University women's coaching staff.
So 6 points in the third quarter, 13 points in the fourth quarter for UNF, 17 in the third, 16 in the fourth. Just a dominant second half for UNF. Here are your final scoring totals. First for BCU, leading the way and leading all scorers with 20 points is Chanel Wilson. Yet another great game. But under that, Jordan had 6, Woods had 5, Edwards and Clark had 4, McCulloch and Dorsey had 2, White, Langston, Beecham, and Dashas played and did not score.
Yeah, and you know the difference in the game has to be number 40, the center for the Ospreys, Emma.
Emma Brorman had 18 points to lead her team. She was the only double-digit scorer for the Ospreys. Berger had 7, Livingston and Swan 6, Westlake 5, Taub 5. The other Swan, Jalen Swan had more points than her sisters. Shaylin had 6, Lyric only had 4. Rob's daughter had 3. Hamzi Miller and Eklund played and did not score.
Yeah, and you know, I know we talked about how number 40 Emma scored, but it was her defensive presence in that zone offense that didn't allow the Wildcats to get anything on the inside tonight to get going. And we got some good open looks on the three-point line or open jumpers against the zone, but we just couldn't convert tonight.
Not the Wildcats' evening on the women's side. We're going to take a break. They put 34 minutes on the clock. And coming up, you can see them on the floor now. It's the Chicago State Cougars in the house to take on the BCU Wildcats. It's men's basketball coming up on the Countdown Network. Stay tuned for that. The women's final score, UNF 54, BCU 43.